Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia, home of the melodious. My name's Azallea, and today, gonna be bringing you guys a post-duel commentary on the Fantasia Non-Meta Tournament Season 1. Now, this tournament took place in December of 2018, and currently, the second season of it is ongoing. So those videos will be coming out after the tournament ends. Now, if you're interested in participating in future Fantasia non-meta tournaments, please check out the Discord server. Link to it is in the description down below, and stay tuned inside the tournament's channel where we'll post updates on when we're going to be hosting the next season. So with that being said, guys, please grab some popcorn and sit back. This is going to be a doozy, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright guys, so welcome to today's post-duel commentary of the Fantasia Non-Meta Tournament Season 1, Round number 4. Hopefully this week I can finish the last episode, where there's one more. I did not make it into the top cut, unfortunately, but hey, sometimes it is how it is. I honestly didn't expect to get this far with Magician Girls anyway. So, playing against my opponent Leo here, and I open up with a pretty decent hand, Magician's right hand right off the bat. There we go. And then summoning my Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. This allows me to basically shut down my opponent's spell cards, or at least the first spell card of every single turn, which is pretty good. Now, unfortunately, if you have two right hands on the field, its effect is only going to apply once. So it's not really going to do too much by playing the other one, so I'm just holding it in my hand just in case my opponent has something like Twin Twisters or anything like that, right? To pop the first one. Obviously he'd need multiples of those. If he had multiple MSTs and stuff, he could do that, but otherwise the first one will get negated. Anyway, moving on to what's actually going on though on the field. I'm doing a bunch of shenanigans. Yeah, that's right. We got shenanigans coming out with spellbooks, going for the draws, going for the searches, right? Secrets, master, knowledge, tributing off the blue boy actually as well. Now, the reason why I tributed off the blue boy is because I actually have a Magician's Restage in hand. And Restage allows me to once when it's on the field, I can revive a level 3 or lower spellcast type monster from my graveyard. And it just so happens that, yeah, Blue Boy is actually a level 2 spellcast type monster. But here's the thing, I drew into the one copy of Instant Fusion that I play in this deck, and things are about to get crazy, because you remember how I just talked about Restage? Yeah, Magician's Restage can revive monsters that are level 1. Level 3 or lower, and it just so happens that Thousand Eyes Restrict is a level 1 spellcaster type monster. And it just so happens that I play Drunkle Qrow just for this card, and Barry Magician Girl, I guess, but that's besides the point. Drunkle Qrow puts a Thousand Eyes Restrict into the graveyard, which means I can reborn it with Magician's Restage and steal more stuff if my opponent had more stuff. Now, it looks like my opponent's playing with Tindangles, I believe they're called. They're like that flip archetype or whatever. It's not really that great. It's unfortunately not one of the archetypes that is Konami's golden child, right? So it's not going to receive the top tier support that some of the better decks do. But he has his Tindangles there. I don't really know what they do in particular, but I do know that most of them are relatively harmless and they don't really do too much. So I'm feeling rather confident going into this one. Now notice how I ended my turn with the Grand Spellbook Tower. So during my standby phase, I could grab another draw, which is fantastic. Drew into another copy of, I believe, Magician's Restage right there, which is really good, because hey, remember how I mentioned that Thousand Eyes Restrict right there? Oh, and looky here, my opponent has multiple monsters on the side of the field as well. Okay, anyway, go ahead, play the Spellbook of Secrets, draw into the blue boy, and this is fantastic, right? Normal summon the blue boy, get more bodies on the field for link summoning if I need it. And now I can go for more searches. Now, contemplating what I'm going to grab, I could always grab Spellbook of Fate or something like that, disruptive, but in this situation, I don't think I really need it. Now, I decided to go for the Spellbook of Knowledge because Master actually requires you to reveal another Spellbook card in your hand, which I don't have. So gonna go ahead, use the Magician's restage right here, bringing back the Thousand Eyes Restrict. Yeah, this was really dirty. Stealing the face down monster first, because I know they're flip effect monsters, now that I see the first monster was a Tindangle. So grab that, get it out of the way, and it turned out to be another angel, so, you know, not too big of a deal. But now I can actually go for some pretty cool plays. Nightmare Phoenix is a possibility. I use my Blue Boy and my Thousand Eyes Restrict, and now I can pitch a card in my hand to go pop a back row. Now, if I had an extra Magician's Restage in hand, I could pitch that and then grab a search. But because I actually opened up with 2 copies of my Magician's right hand, then, you know, not too big of a deal, right? Pop this Tindangles back row. Don't really know what it does, but it didn't really matter, I don't think, at the time. What I was trying to go for here was just establishing more Link monsters, because if I can make a bunch of co-Link monsters, that's gonna be pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead, abuse this Thousand Eyes Restrict, bringing it back from the graveyard. Oh man, do I love the synergy within this deck. I'm so happy that it went back and just re-tackled Magician Girls with no real restrictions, aside from the Forbidden Limited list that we used for this event. But yeah, this was really fun. Went ahead, Thousand Eyes Restrict, stole the angel again. Now I can go for some more Link summons if I want to. Now looking here, I don't think I had too many options. I know I had Nightmare Unicorn. I could have gone for like Trispana, something like that. Ningirsu was a thing. I could have gone for Borolo, but Borolo Pass is not really a good idea. You know, you never know what your opponent's gonna be playing. They may have some gimmick up their sleeve that that makes this as a situation that requires a Borolo to out. But anyway. Gonna go ahead and decide on just summoning my Nightmare Cerberus using my Link Rebo and my Thousand Eyes Restrict. I had to get rid of the Thousand Eyes Restrict on the field. I had to go for Link Summon essentially, because if I didn't, no other monsters on the field can attack except for it, and because Instant Fusion prevents a monster that, oh wait, no, actually, I didn't summon it with Instant Fusion. Forget that last part. But yeah, Thousand Eyes Restrict could attack, but that would have not done as much. It would have been like, what, 500 damage? So yeah, linked it away for the Nightmare Cerberus and co-link to Nightmare Phoenix. Didn't get the draw or pop or anything like that, but they offer each other protection, so it's pretty good. Drawn to the Punch in the Box, not the best thing ever in this situation. Pretty good if my opponent has established ward though. Drew into a Dark Magician Girl, oh, lovely mascot right there, helping me out in times of need, right? But yeah, Chocolate Magician Girl did her job, grabbed me some draws. Now I'm just pitching the Dark Magician Girl into the graveyard here with the Nightmare Unicorn, spinning back the back row that he just set. The other back row's been there for a while, so I'm not really too scared of it, because it's been there. So if he hasn't activated yet, I'm assuming it's going to be dead. Use the Monster Reborn, anime style, Yugimoto coming in, Dark Magician Girl being revived from the graveyard, and now perfectly smacks down my opponent for game. 2200 from the Unicorn, and 2000 from the Dark Magician Girl. So that was actually a pretty fun duel. I know it was a little bit one-sided. It's against Tindangles, which I kind of feel bad for like not taking too seriously, but then again, it's also Tindangles. But yeah, going to the siding though, so you see me putting in the Ultimate Falcon. That's definitely very important. So I'm going ahead, rereading some effects on Tindangles Angel, thinking, alright, I don't think Destruction is probably the best thing to have against the deck, but what if he has multiple set monsters? I really need a way to clear the field. So I'm contemplating what I should take out, what I should keep in. Now, I am expecting my opponent to side in some Spell and Trap removal. Spell and Trap removal is definitely something I'm looking at and going like, okay, that's a big possibility, especially because I start setting a lot of back row, especially because I had, you know, the restages on the field, things like that. My opponent might be tempted to go, okay, well, I want to clear some of that out, right? So I'm putting in 3 copies of Waking the Dragons with Ultimate Falcon in the extra deck, and this is going to be big because if he does pop my Waking the Dragons, then Ultimate Falcon, I don't believe he has an out to, so that is definitely a thing to look out for. Took out some useless cards, mascots in the side deck now, I believe, the Dark Magician Girl, even though she helped me steal game 1, but hey, you know. Anyway, going into game 2, I also sided in left hand, so that's the one that negates trap cards, which came in really clutch against Magical Muskets, right? The last, I believe it was round 2, I played against Magical Muskets. came in really clutch against that matchup. So putting these in, because when I was popping my opponent's back row with Phoenix, I saw the Tindangles trap cards and stuff, and I was thinking, well, yeah, it'd be nice if I could just shut down any plays that he could have, right? So just going with that approach. Now I open up with a really strong hand. Blue Boy summoned, get secrets. Secrets can get a search. I already have master. I have power while going second, which is fantastic. And I have knowledge, and I have life. The only other thing that in my hand that I don't really need is Berry, because that's an additional normal summon that I can't conduct. But it's actually really good that I have it, because then I can actually have a follow play for next turn. So, anyway, go ahead, search out the, what is this, Spellbook Tower, Grand Spellbook Tower, just so I can have extra draws for my next turn, setting up, so making sure that I have enough circulation of resources. Activate Master, reveal random card in hand, gonna go ahead and copy the secrets, and search out a copy of Fate. Fate is gonna be really good for disrupting my opponent on their turn, which allows me to basically have one interruption, and also on the follow-up turn, I have my standby phase, get an extra draw, and Berry gets a search on her normal summon, so it's going to be fantastic. Now, I go ahead and activate Spellbook of Power, boosting up my Blue Boy, and it attacks into a Tindangles Trinity, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's what his name is. Anyway, it goes ahead and summons a Gardener out from the deck, so I'm like, oh, whoa, Tindangles doing stuff. Now I'm getting board presence. That's not good. Because I believe Tindangles have their Link monsters, yeah? So, unfortunately, Spellbook of Power does not trigger because it did not destroy the monster by battle, so that's a thing. So going to main phase 2, kind of like, well, rest in peace, Power. That's alright. Gonna go ahead and activate the Grand Spellbook Tower thing, so I make sure I get my draws next turn. Set the Spellbook of Fate, leave my Blue Boy on the field, and then just really pass my turn. I'm not really too scared because both of his monsters have a 0 attack. And then he goes ahead and activates Spellbook, or not Spellbook, Swords of Revealing Light. Now, Swords of Revealing Light, I have not seen this card in quite a while, and it's usually in a bunch of stall decks, but I can see why it's played here. I believe it flips up all face-down monsters into face-up, whatever position they were when they were face-down. But yeah, so that was the thing. So he goes ahead, Tribute sets a monster, which it's been years. It's been years, literal years since I've seen that happen. But I guess Tindangles have some high level monsters. I know Gardener's level 5, but anyway. During my opponent's end phase, I go ahead, flip my Blue Boy face down so I can go ahead and grab a search. Typical Spellbook stuff, right? If you just banish 2 of your Spellbook cards, gets them in circulation for eternity to actually do some work, but it also just allows you to go for an extra search that you otherwise would not have gotten. So, got an extra draw with the Grand Spellbook Tower, got an extra search with the Blue Boy on top of my draw phase. That's 3 extra cards to work with. Now I normal summon Berry Magician Girl, and I get to grab another Magician Girl as a search. Yeah, look how thin my deck is. This is actually insane. Now, spellbooks add a lot of consistency, a lot of power to any deck that can really utilize it, including Magician Girls, which I really do appreciate. Now that I have my Berry Magician Girl on the field, I do have options I can go for. Both my monsters are relatively weak here, so I have the option of going for, let's say, an extra deck monster like Akashic Magician, something of that sort. I could even bounce that face down monster he just tribute set back to his hand, which would actually make him go -1 if you think about it. Tributing setting a monster is not that great. But the thing is, the Swords of Revealing Light is a thing, and it's kind of annoying. So I'm gonna go for the Nightmare Phoenix. Now, I could opt to pop a back row, or I can go and opt to pop the Swords of Revealing Light. Now, since he hasn't used his back row at all, and from the last duel, I have seen that, hey, he doesn't seem to be doing too much with his back row. I just opt to leave it there. It's probably one of the Tindangles trap cards that has a certain trigger condition effect or something, and I'm just going to get rid of the Swords of Revealing Light so I can go ahead and actually attack. Now, before I do that though, Spellbook of Life, gonna go ahead, banish the Blue Boy, bring back my Berry Magician Girl, because it's really nice to have that kind of protection on the other side of the field, and then I use my Spellbook of Knowledge. Knowledge with Life is one of those really neat interactions, and I know a few of you guys learned about the Fate and Knowledge interaction stuff. That's pretty cool from my previous videos. Now, this is actually also a really good one, because Life can be sent from the field to the graveyard, and your equipped monster still stays there, which is really good. good. It just doesn't get the level modulations that life provides based on what monster you banish in your graveyard. So this allowed me to get 2 extra draws. I am looking pretty good here, and I have a Magician's Restage as well. Now, at this point, I cannot actually use my Berry Magician Girl as a material because Phoenix points right and up, and obviously I do not control any of those zones, so that's a no-go for me, unfortunately. But what I do have now is a Spellcaster type monster on my side of the field in the form of Berry Magician Girl, and she has her built-in targeting protection and, well, quote-unquote protection. If my opponent targets her, she's going to summon something else out from the deck, which gives me that Spellcaster type monster on my field that I need in order to be able to use my Spellbook of Fate. So that's definitely a thing that's very important. So my opponent flips over Tindangles Intruder, and Intruder seems to be like the searcher for the deck, as he just added another Tindangles to his hand, and he goes ahead and sets it to his side of the field. Now, this card is pretty big, 2200 attack, I believe, and he's going to go ahead and swing into my Nightmare Phoenix. Now, I'm thinking at this point, well, do I want to Spellbook of Fate this away? I was, earlier in the turn, contemplating whether or not I should actually banish his monster before he flipped it face up, because I knew he already invested a tribute set into this card. It must be pretty important to his strategy. But I decided I'll hold off on it just in case, because he hasn't used his normal summon yet. He could go for extra deck summons, although he only has like, what, 3 cards? He only has 3 cards in his extra deck. So that's definitely something that I don't think I noticed at the time. But yeah, looking back now, he doesn't really have too many toolbox options if he only has 3 cards in there, 3 or 4, I can't really tell. But yeah, anyway, gonna go ahead and use the Spellbook of Fate, banish his monster, Intruder, and now he tributes my Nightmare Phoenix and gives me a Santa Claus. So this was really, really unexpected, because Santa Claus, if you don't know, the control of the card during the end phase gets a draw, and I control the Santa Claus during the end phase, so that was a thing. Now, Remove Brainwashing is coming in with the big brain plays, and here we go. He's taken back the monster that he just gave me. Now, I'm not sure why he's not playing Kaijus instead of Santa Claus. I think it's just here for the memes. This non-meta tournament, this was the first one we conducted, so everyone's going in kind of shaky, like, I don't really know what we're gonna do here, but hey, let's just have some fun. And I really do applaud him for doing this. I was not expecting the Remove Brainwashing, to be very, very honest with you. Now, the good thing about Santa Claus and Kaijus is that you can actually return both a Kaiju and a Santa Claus back to your side of the field, or remove Brainwashing. You could be able to get rid of a Kaiju. I believe the ruling is that if you have a Kaiju and you activate Remove Brainwashing and to get your Kaiju you gave your opponent back to you, it just gets sent to the graveyard instead, because you can only control 1 Kaiju at a time. So that's a thing. Santa Claus kind of helps you bypass that, because Santa Claus doesn't really have that restriction. But anyway, that little tangent aside, I go ahead and summon Chocolate Magician Girl. So Chocolate Magician Girl gonna do her job, you know, just being there as a little beat stick. Can't really do anything against Santa Claus, but hey, I can use my extra deck options, actually. Cerberus is definitely a thing. I have access to Down Arrow in form of Link Karibo that I can use to co-link and all that stuff. But decide, you know what, I don't really want to go into the extra deck, not right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use Spellbook of Power. Didn't work first game, or wait, yeah, it didn't work first game, because I didn't attack over that monster, right? Yeah, so now we are able to attack, oh wait, no, actually that was this game. Huh. Yeah, that was this game. I wasn't able to attack over the defense position monster because it's 1500 defense and my blue boy had 1500 attack. But now, here, Chocolate Magician Girl 1600 attack, boosted up to 26. And that can attack over the Santa Claus, which only has 2500 defense. So, this was a really good way for me to grab a search while getting rid of his biggest monster on his side of the field. Now, keep in mind, he also has another set monster there that my Berry Magician Girl probably doesn't want to attack into because I don't want to take any damage. But anyway, I did search out a copy of Fate. Now I do have Punch in the Box and Restage as well. If he had some form of Spell and Trap removal, he probably would have played it by now, which is what I'm thinking. So instead of hitting his back row that's set there, which has been there since the start of the duel, I'm going to go ahead and banish that face down monster that he set earlier with that, the Search with Intruder, and then he set it, right? just so he can't get the flip effects or anything like that. I would have been forced to use it anyway during his turn to remove something from his side of the field, so if I remove a monster now, it's, you know, not going to be too bad. And the other reason why is because I do have Punch in the Box that's set face down, so if he does make like a big beat stick that's bigger than my Magician Girls, I can always flip the Punch in the Box and just get rid of it, assuming he has multiple monsters. So anyway, gonna go for my turn again. He just kind of drew and passed, didn't really have anything, and yeah, I just luck sacked into an instant fusion. So hey, why not use this instant fusion? He's sitting with his monster in defense position. I'm like, you know what? Thousand Eyes Restrict is coming in clutch, guys. We're doing exactly what we did in the previous game. That's right, Thousand Eyes Restrict taking his monster. Now we can go for Link Summon. So Link Qrow coming out with that down arrow, opening up some more extra deck options. Now, hey, look at this. Berry Magician Girl grabbing us some value here. Getting another search for another Magician Girl card before I potentially Link Summon off with a copy of her. Now, this was huge. Reverse Reuse is reviving a monster from your graveyard to your opponent's side of the field in face-down defense position. But then because of reverse brainwashing, you actually take control of it back. Now this card is really neat in my opinion. I really like the fact that this is being used in Tindangles. I have never heard of this card before, and that's one of the reasons why I really love this non-meta tournament, is that you just, when would you ever see somebody use this, right? It's probably like used in the anime or something, but you know. In real life, you really don't get to see these types of opportunities, so being able to see that, hey, wow, that's a really neat combo, and also, might be a fun gimmick to tap into at a later date for personal use. But anyway, we're still in this tournament, and we're still dueling this out, so I am looking here, and I'm thinking, oh, well, I can use both my Berry Magician Girls, I could go for a summon, and play, you know, go from there, do some shenanigans, go for some Link summons, maybe pop the brainwashing or shuffle it back with a unicorn or something like that. But then I'm thinking, well, I can't actually make a nightmare with my two Berry Magician Girls. I need two monsters with different names. So what I ended up doing is using that restage that's in my hand, going for that Thousand Eyes Restrict in the graveyard. Oh yes, yeah, my favorite interaction with these cards. And now I can actually go ahead and use that Spellbook of Knowledge, get rid of that Thousand Eyes Restrict. I don't really need it anymore, actually, now that I think about it, because I have a Kiwi Magician Girl in hand, and Kiwi Magician Girl is really good. Boosts my Magician Girls each by 300 attack and defense, I believe, but most importantly attacks, my monster's about to go into the battle phase, for every Magician Girl monster on the field or in the graveyard. And guess what? I have Lemon, Apple, Berry, and Chocolate on the graveyard and field, and when I discard the Kiwi to activate her effect during the damage step, after my Link Qrow attacks of course, then Kiwi also counts, so that's 1500 damage extra to each monster. Times 2? Oh yeah, now that's gonna be a lot. That's extra 3000 damage on each monster. My Berry Magician Girls are doing 3400 damage each. And that's not even counting Chocolate Magician Girl, who comes in for the last bit of damage, 4800 to wrap things up. So yeah, guys, that is gonna be it for this duel. Kind of one-sided against Tindangles, and I really do feel bad for my opponent Leo here. He played really well, had some really cool attacks, and he was happy because he got to troll with that Santa Claus. But yeah, anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please leave a like, subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content, and leave a comment down below letting me know what I can do to improve. And until next time, take care.